Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Aroca, and this channel is all about trying to help you to build winning cultures that last and to help improve your personal leadership. Today, I want to talk to you a little bit about goal setting. And I know I'm a month behind, but I'm really not, and I'll explain why here in a minute. But before we start talking about goal setting for this video, I want to tell you that I'm going to focus a little bit on the book I wrote about 3 years ago. So this is my book. See, there's my name right there, Eric Aroca, and it's Live the Life You Have Always Imagined. So I wrote this book because I needed to write a book. It was on one of my bucket lists, to do things. It was a pretty big dream that I had to be able to write a book, so I went ahead and wrote one. So this book, I didn't necessarily, when I sat down to write the book, I didn't really write it with the intention that millions of people were going to read this book and it was going to be flying off the shelf, and, that's really not why I wrote it. I really wrote it for me. But since I am a speaker, I do get to sell my books quite often. And that has been pretty fun to autograph people's books, and I don't know. I get a kick out of that. I just think it's fun and very humbling experience that I've had over the last 2 or 3 years. This book is about living the life you've always imagined. So many of us are living a certain life. You go day to day, you live your life, and you might be imagining your life, what you want it to be like, but you're nowhere near that. And I got to thinking, how did I get to where I am today? And it was by living a core set of principles. It wasn't tips or tricks, that you could get online or, Google or anything like that. But it was actual principles that I lived in order to help me to get to where I am today. And so that's what I wrote about. And it's full of life experiences, things that have happened in my life. Some great stories that other people were kind enough to share with me. And so that's what the book is all about. It's about bridging your gap from your reality to living the life you've always imagined. Check it out. I'll leave a link in the description and we can go from there. So chapter 1 talks about goal setting. And specifically, it talks about SMART goals, but I don't want to be too definitive about just saying, hey, you can only create SMART goals and what have you. You guys all know what the acronym means: specific, accountable or attainable, if I could spell, measurable, accountable, realistic, timeline. You guys get the picture. Okay. So instead, what I want to do is take a little bit broader picture about reaching for your goals. I have one quote from Stuart Scott, who was an anchor on ESPN way back in the day. Many of you remember him, the late, great Stuart Scott. And Stuart Scott said this. He said, "Don't downgrade your dream just to fit your reality. Instead, upgrade your conviction to match your destiny." I love that. Okay, so as we start talking about goal setting, it's important. It's the end of February. Most of us have already forgotten what our New Year's resolutions were. Maybe we were gung-ho the first couple of weeks, or maybe even the first month. And how I can tie this into helping you build your individual leadership is very simple. All great leaders help inspire other people to dream more, to visualize more. And so it's not about walking, with your head in the clouds and daydreaming. It's not about that. It's about having big goals. It's about looking beyond the horizon, seeing what is out there, seeing what you're capable of achieving in your life. Don't settle. One of the worst things we can do as people is to just settle for whatever is going on in our day-to-day. You don't need to settle. Because if you're dreaming more, if you're setting goals, then you're constantly working towards achieving something else and becoming more, which is very, very important. And a lot of people will give excuses to why they don't dream more, why they may say it's kind of a waste of time. And I'll get answers kind of like, well, you know what? I don't have the money to travel. One of my dreams is to travel, and I just don't have the money to do that. I'm too old. Dreaming is for young people. I'm too old. I've already, lived a life, and I'm just kind of waiting till the day comes where I can just, kick it and move on. There's all sorts of excuses. Maybe the opposite of that one would be I'm too young. I don't have any idea what I want to do, where I want to be 10 years or 20 years down the road or 5 years from now. And so there is a plethora of excuses as to why we're not dreaming more. But the important thing here is to dream big. Don't just say, well, I'm not going to reach for the stars because I'll never get there. No, reach for the stars. Think of something big. I always think of the Wright brothers for some reason when I talk about dreams and having goals. I always think of the Wright brothers. And the Wright brothers were no mathematical geniuses or science geniuses. They were average high school students, okay? Average students, but they had a dream. They could visualize it. They could see themselves doing it. And because of that, the power comes from seeing it to actually being able to live it out and doing that which you're dreaming about. So look at the Wright brothers. They wanted to fly. And hey, this was at a time where, no one was flying. I mean, there was a handful of people flying gliders, but that was it, right? No one else was doing this. But they had a dream. Even though it didn't make sense to anybody else. Their dream was not realistic, right? The R in SMART goals. It was not realistic or attainable to other people. It was realistic and attainable to them because they could see it. They could visualize it. Goals, dreams, I don't care what you call them. I don't care if you call it a promise, right? So a lot of people think or say, well, a goal is a promise to yourself. Great. Hey, go with it. Go with whatever works for you. The important thing here is that you start dreaming, that you start setting goals and make them big. The bigger, the better. Go big or go home. Okay, let me give you an example about dreaming big. Growing up, I just kind of had put it in my head that I would not go to college. Wasn't for me. I wasn't smart enough to go to college. I didn't get through high school, as many of you have heard my story. I didn't graduate high school till I was 25, and that was pretty tough. I have severe dyslexia. Back then, in the 80s growing up, there was no such thing as dyslexia. You were just stupid. I remember the first time dyslexia hit the airwaves on TV, it was Theo Huxtable from The Cosby Show. He had dyslexia, and that's how it started to kind of come out and kind of snowballed a little bit from there. I got a little bit of traction. So I had put it into my head that I would not be going to college. I just wasn't smart enough. I believed what people said. Hey, you're not smart enough. You're stupid. My English teacher in senior year of high school pointed at me and called me stupid. So I just thought, hey, I got to figure out some other way to do this. And I always remember seeing people that were maybe well dressed and had a suit and tie on, and they would talk about their college experience, and I would be sitting there going, gosh, I wonder what that would be like to go to college. I wonder what it would be like to get an education like that and to learn cool stuff like that. But it was just that. It was just a thought. It didn't ever materialize or go anywhere. Until I found out I had dyslexia. Once I found out I had dyslexia, it was kind of like a freeing moment that helped me realize that, oh my gosh, I'm not stupid. I just have dyslexia. And so I learned how to overcome it. And because I learned how to overcome it, I enrolled into college. I kind of graduated by accident. But once I graduated high school, I enrolled into college. And by this time, I'm in my late 20s, early 30s. I'm probably 30 years old at this time. So I went to college, earned a bachelor's degree in business management, and then applied to college, and I guess not reapplied, but signed up again and signed up for a master's program, and I got a master's in organizational management. hence helping people build cultures that last, right? It kind of goes hand in hand with that. See how it all comes back? Anyway, I went to college, and even though college was really hard because I had to read, and even though I was learning about dyslexia and how to overcome it, I still had to read, and comprehension was really tough, and reading was super tough. And so I had to get through that. But one of the things that helped me was to visualize myself walking across the stage. I would close my eyes and I could hear them call my name, Eric Aroca. And I would see myself then walk across the stage, grabbing the little fake diploma. So they would give me my diploma, and I would walk out, and my family would be cheering. But because I saw it in my mind first, I was able to accomplish it. I was able to make it happen, to making it a reality. And that's what you can do. Whatever your big dreams are, see yourself doing that thing that you're dreaming about, that you're visualizing. Visualize it. There is power in visualization. There is power in seeing you become or doing that thing which you are dreaming or setting goals about. It does make a huge difference. So give it a try. Remember, dream big. Don't be afraid to dream. And when you start dreaming, you start setting bigger goals, hey, then be a leader and inspire other people to do the same. Okay, guys, that's all the time we have for today. Like I said before, if you're interested in the book, I will leave the description. I will leave all the information in the description. I will leave a link so you can just go right to Amazon and get a copy for yourself, your friends. Makes a great gift. Anyway, that's all we have time for today. So thanks for being with me. Remember, if you like, share, comment, remember to hit that notification bell at the top. And we will see you guys next week. Take care.